where you were actually pretty high on this guy before the
Hmm.
season even started, and he seems to be gaining some traction now. So give me the lowdown on the 6'4" guard out of Baylor, Keyonte George.
Yeah, I love Keyonte George. He is, I just wrote a piece for No Ceilings earlier this month where I broke down his game and kind of mirrored his game to guards like Anthony Simons and Jamal Murray, Bradley Beal. I think that he is kind of built for the modern NBA. He is putting up some crazy kind of behind the scenes and advanced stats as far as what he's doing as a shooter. Because if you look at his percentages, you might be like, not that efficient. Like, he's a 3-point shooter, but he's not like 40%. The amount of shots he is getting up at the difficulty of shots he's getting up in these games is almost unprecedented. It's basically, like Trae Young type volume. He's able to create shots on the ball or off of it. And when he's off of it, it's not just like he's standing around spacing the floor. He is running off screens, and he's doing the Jamal Murray in Denver, waiting for the Jokic playmaking stuff. He's JJ Redick. He's doing some of that kind of stuff. So the shot versatility that he has as well is big time. And then one of the surprising aspects of his game that people didn't really see coming, because he didn't show it a ton when he was in high school at IMG Academy, is he's really shown some pretty intriguing playmaking flashes with the ball in his hands. And he's fitting the ball through tight windows and passing guys open. Now he's absolutely a shoot first guy. That's his role. He's a scorer, but he's been a really, really good playmaker. And going back to the Trae Young, there was at one point of the season where his assist percentage and 3-point attempts per 100 possessions, the only guy since 2008 who had matched his numbers was Trae Young. And then again, you want a two-way guard if you're taking a guy high up in the lottery. I think he's a really good defender. His understanding off the ball, he is very nuanced. Baylor, they try to shadow guys to ice guys to the sidelines, and he understands team concept. He understands when to rotate as the low man. He has great form closing out on the weak side. He has moments, as every 18, 19-year-old kid does, where maybe he gets a little lazy and whatnot, but he's great on the ball. He's strong. He's not contact averse on either side of the ball. I think for me, the NBA game is going to open up things for him so much that maybe you don't even get to see it Baylor outside of just kind of spurts, but he's made for the NBA.
Yeah, I've always not questioned, but just wondered about his size, being 6'4", and probably primarily being an off ball. But you spoke to some of his playmaking ability as well. And aside from BPA, again, we talk about the BPA and fit, and again, you don't really care when you're this high up in the draft, but I do wonder defensively, you kind of made a mention of that. Do you think he's a good point of attack defender? Because right now, LaMelo feels like a guy that is probably better suited off ball.
I do think he's a good point of attack defender. He's had some really, really brilliant moments. He gets over screens because he's strong and he's slithery. Do I think like he is the guy that alleviates LaMelo from having to defend? I don't think he's the solution necessarily, but he's almost, from a Hornets perspective, it's like what theoretically you want James Bouknight to be. Offensively and defensively, he's shown more than Bouknight ever did when he was in college. But I think Charlotte's one of the more intriguing teams for him, because I think the offensive fit is like you couldn't get more perfect for him, because he could still have opportunities to score on the ball, but LaMelo is such a fantastic and brilliant playmaker that he opens up so much of his off-ball stuff. Defensively, though, I think that's where you love having Mark Williams around, because he's going to allow some of these guys who Keontae's always going to put in effort on that end. But at the same time, whether it's LaMelo, whether it's Keyonte, whether it's somebody else, when you get into a playoff setting, right, like you're going to try to target whoever you think the weakest defender is. But in a regular season, I think it'll be fine. And I think Mark Williams and his growth and development is going to kind of alleviate a lot of that.